Doing two NFL player props here on Prize Picks for Monday, January 13th, Monday Night Football, Vikings, Rams, wild card round here. Before I get started, link in the description below. Hop into the Discord, $9.30 per month, 31 cents per day. Currently doing a promo right now for first-time members of the Discord, 20% off your first month if you are a first-time member using the link in the description below and promo code TUFF. Again, also want to mention I'm not a gambling expert, not financial advice. It simply just plays on personally looking at making. Hopefully give you guys some insight and analysis to make your own player prop decisions here. But yeah, we got the Rams, Vikings, Monday Night Football. 47.5 point game total. Vikings 2.5 point favorites here. It is interesting that the Rams were scheduled to play a home game here. This game moved to Arizona due to the fires. Again, prayers to everyone in Los Angeles area dealing with the fires here. 2.5 point spread, 2.5 point favorites for Minnesota. The Rams were 1.5 point favorites at home. It flipped to 2.5 for Minnesota. So just crazy lines here on these books. But I got two player props that I am targeting for this game. Both these player props I think are buy lows. Yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Both these plays are going to be fantasy score lines. The first one's going to be Cooper Kupp over 12. Again, Cooper Kupp's continued to kind of punish us when we do take him, especially over the last couple of weeks. If you do look at his last five, if you are last five better here, you can see here 0, 5.4, and 3.9 fantasy points over his last three games under this line and four of his last five. But like I said, buy low for Cooper Kupp here in a game where they should be at least trailing a little bit. We're expecting this game to be somewhat of a shootout compared to these other wild card games here. But Cooper Kupp, we took at some odds. Again, this is outlier, by the way. You can get a 7-day free trial with the link in the description below. Over 4.5 receptions here. Minus 136 on FanDuel, minus 145 on Caesars. 4.5 receptions is no longer on PrizePicks, by the way. It's going to be a goblin, I'm sure, soon. 3.5s here, and 6.5 and 5.5. So there's no 4.5 because, again, of those odds. But we look at Cooper Kupp. If we take a look, let's say he's favored to have at least, let's just say 4 catches, right? Because he is minus 125 at 4.5. Let's just say he gets 4 catches. If he gets 4 catches, the line for the floor for this line is very high this season with 4 catches, 7.7. He's over this line in 7 of 8 games this season when he has at least 4 catches. So again, giving us that type of upside here. 12 PPR fantasy points is pretty low. I mean, that's essentially 6 catches for 61 yards for Cooper Kupp. We go back to last season when healthy. Decently hit rate on this line. The season before that when healthy, you can see here over this line in every game except for one. 2021 is best season of his career without question. You can see the hit rate on this line as well. Just an absolute monster, and he's still very, very involved in this offense. It's not like the offense. I guess essentially it's not like the game plan for him has been any different. And against this Vikings defense, they're going to have to throw the football. We look at wide receivers game log, PPR fantasy score game log this season versus the Vikings, logging 3+ catches. And again, 12 PPR fantasy points. We've seen 18 different wide receivers. Really, and I don't even think this is the full season. This is since October. We've seen 18 different wide receivers. 18 have at least 12 PPR fantasy points against the Minnesota Vikings. Right? We even look at Cooper Kupp in the playoffs in his career. Over this line, or at least over this line in 5 of 7 games in his playoff career, he's over this line, and he's had some monster games in the playoffs. And I just think, Minnesota is going to definitely put the direction towards Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams, and I think Cooper Kupp's kind of the afterthought here in this matchup. Like I said, Minnesota Vikings to the wide receiver position allow the most receptions, second most receiving yards, up there, ninth most total touchdowns, and PPR fantasy points per game, the most, 25.2. Actually, this is standard. Let's do PPR. PPR fantasy points per game to the wide receiver position. The Vikings allow the most in the football 40.9. So again, all that in combination with 12 PPR fantasy score line for Cooper Kupp, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, when Puka Nacua was injured earlier this season, this line was at 17.5, 18.5. I like the upside. I think if this is the type of line that if this doesn't hit, then McVay kind of failed the Rams in getting Cooper Kupp involved in this offense. So he's also he's had some time, I think, to ail any injuries that he may be having. He didn't play in the Week 18 game against the Seahawks, so I like the spotlight here for Cooper Kupp. The second play here is going to be DJ Hockenson. I like his over 10 fantasy score here. Surprisingly, the Rams defense has been pretty good as of late, but I think the tight end position, and specifically DJ Hockenson, is one they're struggle with. So on the season, right, Hawkinson's only over this line in 4 games, but obviously he missed initial part of the season, right? We take a look at these first couple games. He was only running 19, 20 plus routes here, but in games when he runs at least 30 plus routes, which again I'm expecting him to run 30 plus routes in this one. He's seen 9 targets, 6 targets, 7 targets, and 8 targets, and is over this line in 4 or 5 games. His only miss coming against Detroit, which is the best team against the tight end position in the NFL, where he finished with 2.9 fantasy. But more specifically, over the last 8 weeks and over the last 4 weeks, even more so, let's just do last 4 weeks as well. Rams allowing the most fantasy points to the tight end position at 13.9 PPR, or actually do PPR, sorry. It's PPR scoring on PrizePicks. Tight end position. Yeah, the Rams, 22.6 PPR fantasy points per game to the tight end position. Just getting absolutely gashed by tight ends. We look at tight ends right here. This is just in the last couple weeks. Just last week, Noah Fant and AJ Barner both had 14 plus. Trey McBride 30, Tyler Conklin 10.9, George Kittle 10.1. So literally, at least one tight end in their last 4 matchups has cleared this line, including Taysom Hill at 9.7 down here. And then we look at the odds for TJ Hockenson. Last season, he was over this line in 12 of 15 games. 12 of 15 games last season. And then this season as well, we go to 2024, when there is, essentially, let's just say 45 points scored. He's over in 2 of 5. But I think given the matchup and given how, intense that the Rams will probably be defending Justin Jefferson, I just think there's going to be room all over the field for TJ Hockenson. And obviously the Rams have been exploited by tight ends as of late. If we look at TJ Hawkinson's receptions as well, over on Outlier, again, link in the description below. Where's his receptions line? Receptions. If we filter this to 3.5, juiced heavily on the over, -205 on Caesars. 3.5 receptions. So let's just say books favoring for him for 4 receptions in this one. This season with 4 catches. He's had 8.5, 11.8, 10.2, 18.4, and 15.2 PPR fantasy points. So a ton of upside for both these guys. Buy lows. Please drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and as always, have a great day. Let's cash.